Hi there, I'm Timothy Linsdau, video producer, Christian, and today again putting on my science cap. We've been talking about space, vast expanses of distance and size, and now we're going to go to the tiniest thing, not the tiniest, but very tiny, grass seed, which is the size of a bee's brain. So today, the story is about a bee brain. Hey, before we start, like and comment on my video, subscribe to support my channel if you would, thank you. Yes, I was reading a science publication, phys.org. It says, bees can recognize human faces, study finds. Now, that's fascinating. You know, honeybees look pretty simple, but you know, there's a lot of study to show how flowers can actually hear bees' wings, and the bees can see patterns for different flowers. So there's kind of a synergistic thing going on there. But so they did some studies to see if bees recognize faces. Scientists, the findings toss new uncertainty into long studied questions that some scientists consider largely settled. Researchers say how humans themselves recognize faces. Now, the results also may help lead to better face recognition software developed study of the insect brain, scientists add. So they're doing this study on bee brains. Now, many researchers traditionally believe facial recognition required a large brain, but that's showing that it's a possibility. Here's what they said. Many researchers traditionally believed facial recognition required a large brain and possibly a specialized area to do this. The bee finding casts doubt on that. So, you know, what did they do? Well, what they would do is, of course, hold up a photo of a face or multiple faces, and then they would, in a sense, train them so that when they chose the right face, they got a sweet treat. If they didn't recognize the test face, they got a bitter treat. Exactly how they pulled that off, I don't know. But anyway, it worked, and they were able to see that bees could recognize a face even after 2 days. They could it had a long-term memory, if you will. So the bees apparently failed to realize that they should pay attention to the photos was one of the reasons they failed in succeeding. But 5 bees learned to fly toward the photo horizontally in such a way that they could get a good look at it. Now, in fact, these bees tended to hover a few centimeters in front of the image for a while before deciding where to land. So it's probably just like they have this innate ability to recognize different flowers. So apparently it's a pattern they're seeing in the face that they're succeeding with. They get that pattern down, and they know that pattern is going to give them a sweet treat, and they choose the right pattern. They said 2 bees tested 2 days after the initial training retained the information for long term. One scored 94% in the first day, 79 2 days later. The second bee's score dropped from 87 to 76. Not that, well, some. Researchers also checked whether bees performed better for faces that humans judged as being more different. It seemed to be the case, they found, but the result didn't reach statistical significance. Bees probably don't understand what a human face is. To the bees, the faces are spatial patterns that this researcher said. So it's really what they're seeing. Probably not their beekeeper. Who knows? Of course, a beekeeper is usually covered in something, so not exactly like, even though there can be patterns in that. So anyway, so now they've discovered that bees can see patterns, even though it may look like they recognize a face for a little bit. One of the part of the studies is the most important result in cases of this study is that bumblebees cannot just copy others, but they can improve upon what they're learning. This is the course amazing for small-brained insects, even for us. It's difficult to improve on something when we are copying others. Seems these tiny invertebrates, or small-brained insects, mind you, have been designed with extraordinary ability to reason and learn. You discovered that bees can link symbols to numbers. We know bees get the concept of zero and can do basic math. Woo! Now researchers have discovered they may be capable of connecting symbols to numbers. Wow, these grass seed-sized brains in these bees turn out to be amazing. So here's some examples. They calculated that a whale's brain has over 200 billion neurons, brain cells. Now, human brains have an estimated 86 billion. And honeybees maybe 1 million. So despite their tiny brains, they're capable of extraordinary feats of behavior. And in this research, a Dr. Nigel Raine from Royal Holloway School of Biological Sciences of the University of London, that's his quote, is that despite their tiny brains, bees are capable of extraordinary feats of behavior. But it seems in the research it's not about neurons. As we can see, the whales haven't figured out how to go to the moon or anything like that, or stay out of the way of a harpoon. But the fascinating thing is, it's not about the number of neurons, but it's about the communication between the neurons. From what I was reading, the research is showing that the ability for our neurons to communicate well affects the ability to learn, and how fast you learn, and how much you retain, and how much you can recall. And that's what being clever, bright, or genius probably is all about. So researchers are finding that it's not necessarily the massive sheer number of neurons in an animal that accounts for the creature's cognition. It seems rather to lie in the neural circuits, specifically the circuit's interconnectivity and modularity. That's kind of fascinating. It appears the neural circuits must be arranged and connected in a very specific manner in order to function as optimally as they do. Fascinating. Yes, bees are designed with a brain the size of grass seed, with less than 1 million neurons, and yet they can recognize human faces, count, improve upon what they are learning, do basic math like link symbols to numbers, navigate using spatial memory with a rich and map-like organization. Wow, way to go, bees. Hope they can figure out what's killing them off in the U.S., whatever that's all about. These are, some scientists have said these are highly intelligent creatures. Agreed. One must ask, though, are bees by accident, or could they have been designed? And that's what it comes down to. What do we have for an amazing insect to do what it does and to create that wonderful tasting stuff, honey? Love it on my pancakes and my French toast. Well, there you go. A little something about bee brains. And coming back down here to Earth from the moon and the universe. All right, like and comment on my videos. Subscribe to my channel if you would. And get out there and observe a bee and make it a great day.